everyone. Happy not Friday, but Wednesday instead. So I'm here live with you, which means I'm fully packed. Well, 99% packed. I just have to grab my toiletries and stuff. That'll happen after my shower in the morning. And so I told you if I was packed, I would do a live stream today. And I thought I would maybe do it around lunchtime, but the day just got away from me. So I'm doing it around dinner time instead. You should consider yourself very loved because my husband made a wonderful dinner. There's London broil out there, and I already had a piece of it, and OMG, he did a fabulous job. But I also really want to cross stitch for a little bit. And so I thought tonight, rather than having a high energy live stream with all the chaos going on, if you were here last night, we did an impromptu live stream. You can go check that out. I thought it would be a lot of fun just to sit, look at the chat, and work on a project. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll show you what I'm working on, and I'll just have a little chat with you as I continue to work on my cross stitch. I'll pay attention to the chat. So if you have anything you would like for me to see, please just tag me in the chat at Sobecca. That'll help it pop up on my end and make it easier for me to see. I do want to remind everybody that Friday, this coming Friday, the 28th, is that right? Yes, it's 28th. I will not be live because I will be on the cruise. And next Friday, September 4th, I will not be live because I'll be getting off of the cruise. I will return to my normal live stream schedule on Friday, September 11th. And boy, oh boy, you're going to want to make sure you tune in for that because I have got some news that I have been sitting on for a while and I cannot wait to tell you all the things that I'm working on behind the scenes. It's coming to my live stream on September 11th. And oh, there'll probably be some giveaways too, because you know how I am. I can't not go, did that sound right? I can't go into a quilt shop and not buy something and then give it away later. So yeah, definitely make sure you come back for a good time on the 11th. Okay, I do want to give Nikki Stitches a shout out because I just saw that pop up and she tagged me. She says, hope you have fun on your trip. Looking forward to the coming pictures. Absolutely. You'll definitely want to make sure that you're following me here on YouTube and most importantly on Instagram because all of the behind the scenes and things that I'm experiencing in the moment will be shared there. I'll maybe do a little bit of a recap video when we come back, but I can't promise that. But I can promise you I'll be posting random photos and video clips over on Instagram. So make sure you pop over there and you give me a follow. Tiffany, I'm going to see you in less than 24 hours. Ah! I'm so excited. I had a dream that Tiffany and I drove to California. Yeah, that was my dream. That was my dream. All right, so we are going to, oh, I do want to give one more shout out. I'm so sorry. I want to give one more shout out for Donna, Handmade by Ying with Donna. Those games and good times await those going. Yep, absolutely. But I want to let you guys know that she's kicking off a project this Friday, some sort of a sew along. I can't tell you all the details because I honestly don't remember them. She texted them to me earlier today. So if you are looking for a community to sew with Friday night and you're not able to be here, I think she's going live at 6 p.m. Eastern on Friday night this week and next week. All the details will be over on her channel. So I would just pop over there. If you're not already subscribed to her channel, please do. And then you can just follow along with her that way. If you need a link to her channel, you can just type !Ying in the live chat and it'll pop that up for you. And then you can just pop over there and check out her channel. Tiffany says, next visit, Becca, you come here and we can take a Cali trip. We need to. Every time I see Tiffany, I'm like, I want to go to California because I have never been and we never do. We never do. All right. So what am I working on? Well, I've got my handwork bag out and these are all the threads that I'm going to be working with. I'll just lay them down so you can see the pretty colors. Only 6 colors in this. What I'm trying to put together is kind of, it's inspired by the Goes like this. It's inspired by the Bargello quilt that we're making on the cruise. And so the Bargello quilt that I'm doing, I have 5 shades of purple, 5 shades of blue, and 5 shades of green, and we're putting that together to make a quilt following a pattern that looks very similar to this. And I didn't want to pull all of those colors. I didn't have all those colors. So I just pulled 2 purples, 2 blues, and 2 greens, and that's what I'm doing here. So I'm doing dark and then light, dark, light, dark, light. So I'm on my last color that I'm going to add, and so that is what we shall do tonight. I'm going to grab some of this light green, just about an arm's length. I'll snip that off of my spool. And then I'm going to go ahead and separate the floss. And the way I do that, let me just get that gone. I don't like it when that happens. I like to tap the end of this a little bit, and it kind of causes the strands, there's 6 of them on this, to display or fray a little bit. And then I just grab one of those strands with my hand while holding the rest of the thread with my other hand, and I just give it a pull. And if I feel like it's starting to not let me go, then I'll stop and I'll stretch this out if I need to. But most of the time I can get this out very cleanly. So now I have one single strand from my 6-strand floss. I like to do what is called the loop start method. So I'm going to show you what that is. But when I'm stitching on something that is the equivalent of 14 count. But this is plastic. I 3D printed it, so it could be like a coaster or something when it's done. But it is the equivalent of a 14 count Aida cloth. So when I'm stitching, I like to get a needle threader. These are the best needle threaders for cross stitch. I've tried my Bowen needle threader that I use for EPP, and it doesn't seem to work with these needles. So all I do is I put the little hook through the eye of the needle. I am using a Bowen size 26 tapestry needle. So this eye is very small. It can be even a little difficult to get the needle threader in there, but I'll tell you, it's easier to get the needle threader in there than it is to get the thread. Once I have that hook through the eye of the needle, then I grab the end of the thread that has the 2 tails, and I just kind of put that over into the hook, and I hold it down with my hand, and I just slide the needle very carefully off of the hook and onto the thread, making sure that I'm not giving too much pressure because I don't want to snag or shred or cut my thread. So now that I have this put together, I've got my needle here with my 2 ends, right? There are 2 ends, and then I have a loop at the other end. So to do a loop start, I'm going to try to zoom my camera in here so you guys can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Give me a moment. Oh, I am zoomed like all the way in. This is as close as it's going to get, I think. All right, so what I'm going to do is pick up my thread. I'm going to put my needle with my thread in here. Remember, the loop is at the end. It's not up by the needle. And I'm just going to put it through the first hole where I want to stitch. And I'm going to pull it through just like this. And I'm going to put my finger in that loop to kind of hold it there. I don't want it to go all the way through. I'm going to come up in the next position where I would normally go to stitch. So I always start in the upper right and go to the lower left. And so that's the motion that I'm mimicking here. I'm going to come up through that loop, give it a tug to make it nice and tight, and then I'll go back down into that same hole. And when I do, it's going to pull it around to the back. And so now I've got 2 strands going over that intersection, just like I would if I was normally cross stitching, and the thread is nice and secured. So Melody Quilt says, "Pretty nails, Becca. Thank you so much." I didn't get them redone today, but I did get them done last week, and I feel like that is going to be sufficient enough. I don't care. All right, I'm going to try and fix the focus on this camera. I want to make sure that everything's coming through really crisp, and I feel like it might be just a little out of focus. I've been having problems with the focus on this camera. So, you know, there's that. Give me a moment. Feel like it's getting better. Nope, worse, worse, better. I think it was okay where it was. Okay, cool. And then I'm just gonna go over here and we'll zoom this in a little bit more. There. That'll make it really easy for y'all to see. And I'll come back over this way. I'm gonna close this out and back this way. We're going to pan this down. There, that should work. Now we've got a nice big close-up of what I'm working on, but I will say I feel like it can get a little lost in the white background, but we'll make it work, right? So, cross stitch, for those of you that don't know how to do it, all you're really doing is you're coming up in one hole and then you're going down in a diagonal hole. So if I come up in the upper right and where the stitch is actually the piece of fabric or cloth or plastic that's covered by making an X. And so if I come up, if I want to make a stitch, let's say all the way up here, I would come up for me in the upper right, and then I would go down to the lower left. And then I would come up in the lower right and go down in the upper left. And that makes sure that the legs, the second legs, are always going in the same direction. It just makes your project look a bit neater from the front. I also do, I can't remember what technique this is, but I think it's like Danish method or something. I like to do one leg of all of my X's before I go back in and fill it in. And so all I'm doing right now for this whole row, I'm just coming through, coming up in the upper right-hand corner, pulling the thread up, and then I'm going down in the lower left-hand corner. I'm just going to keep doing that until this row is filled in. Up, down, up, down. Now I need to come back and put that second leg on there. And I like to make sure that my legs always go from the lower right to the upper left. So I'm going to come in the lower right, up in the lower right, and then down in the upper left. And I'll finish off the X's for that whole entire row. I am using Orifloss, Aurifil embroidery floss. It is 6-strand cotton, but I have a lot of DMC. I just happened to pull these spools because I liked the colors and they weren't targeted for a project. So that's why they're sitting here with me today. We did get our lighting situation, my lighting situation figured out. Somebody's asking in the chat, did you guys get it figured out last night? We did. I had a couple of mounts and things that I had to buy. They will be here Friday. So when I get back from the cruise, we'll fix the overhead lighting behind me so that I'm backlit a little bit more. Can we see the back? Sure, Carol, just give me a moment. It's not perfect, but at the end of the day, my my project gets covered up on the back. So I don't care about it being perfect looking on the back. I'm not displaying the back, I'm displaying the front. As long as my stitches are secured, that's what makes the most sense. But that being said, this is what my back looks like. Some areas look pretty neat and tidy. I've heard people say that your cross stitch should look the same on the back as it does on the front. I don't subscribe to that theory. Obviously, I've had messier projects, but I certainly could have neater as well. The back is not what matters. We'll say it's a little awkward to stitch like this. So I'm going to sit back a little bit more because I felt like I was up here, and then I can just fix the camera so it comes to where I'm at rather than me trying to go to the camera. That'll make it a little bit more natural for me. Kelly says, whoop whoop, I am officially on vacation. Now I need to finish packing for the cruise. Awesome. What time do you get into Seattle, Kelly? Yeah, Carol says that looks very neat and you don't have to pull threads through with your method. You're right, but I don't do a loop end. You can do that. I'm a little rusty on how to do that, so I do still run my threads through to finish it off when I'm done, but not when I'm starting. I feel like running my thread through the stitches on the back when I'm done is relatively easy. It's not complicated for me. What is a little difficult is keeping your hand on those running tails or the working thread on the back of your project while you're taking your first few stitches. So for that reason, I really love the loop start. There is no pattern for this one, so that's the other fun thing about cross stitch. Cross stitch, I feel like, is sewing's equivalent of diamond painting, right? You're basically making pixel art. If you can imagine something being colored in with a bunch of little squares, then that's all you have to do. So you can draw it up if you want, you can just go with the flow, whatever works for you. Kelly's going to get to Seattle around lunchtime tomorrow. Jane says, have a wonderful cruise. I hope you enjoy your day in Victoria. That's where I live. I am sure we will. We are going to do a whale watching excursion in Victoria, so I'm very excited about that. I am not that quilter that's going to struggle to force more stitches just to get use out of that piece of thread. I filled that area in, and so for me, I don't feel like I've got enough back here to do this whole next section. So I'm just going to take this and run it through a few stitches on the back to kind of secure that. It's a little hard to do when the plastic isn't flexible, so just bear with me. Once I have that run through, then I'll just snip this off, and this becomes discarded threads. Now I'm going to pick up another piece for my 6th strand. We'll pull one strand off of that package of 6. I'll fold it in half so that I have the 2 ends on one side and a fold on the other. And then I'll get my needle threader. Whale watching does sound like fun, doesn't it? I'm very excited to do that. Hello, Janice from London. Josh says, good evening. I am enjoying this cross stitch. That looks lovely, Becca. My mom used to do a lot of cross stitching. I have a seashell one she did in my stash. I have definitely been bitten by the handwork bug. So I don't know who I am. I don't know who snatched my body, but I'm not complaining. All right, let me see. Oh, I'm holding those threads. That's why they're not coming through. Okay, cool. Let me just get these to lay nice and parallel. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fill in this section down here. So I'm going to start with my loop start, which means I'm going to identify the stitch that I want to start with. I'm going to put the needle down in the upper right hand corner. And then come up in the lower left. Whoops. And then go back down. Now that's locked in, and we're just going to do the first leg for this entire row. Would help if I could get it in the hole. It's amazing how long this little project is taking me. I've already put several evenings into this, and it's so small, but it has been my go-to. And I've actually been doing a really good job with cross stitch of starting one project and just kind of sticking with that one until it's done. I haven't been hopping like I tend to do with making quilts. Ian, knock it off. He said, I'm wondering, do we think she'll ever finish a full-sized hexie quilt? No, I'm not trying to do a full-size hexie quilt, but I am trying to do my table runner with my Liberty of London, and that is being packed away with me. I cannot wait to sit on the cruise ship, pull out some hexies, and just start sewing those together. I'm hoping that by the time I come back, I have some progress on a cross-stitch project or two, and I have some good progress on that little desk mat that I'm making with my hexies. Lynn says, hello, I've been lurking here in Gloucestershire. I think I pronounced that wrong, but hello. If you are going on the cruise, guys, don't forget that there is an email that has a link to a WhatsApp group so you can start to see who else is going on the cruise and you can communicate with them. It's also where you're going to get all of your updates from me, Tiffany, Ian, and the guys at RGE. Janice says she has abandoned her hexies that she started during COVID, but she'll get back to them when she retires. Holly says, what is the name of your By Annie project bag? Again, please and thank you. This is the Place for Everything bag. Susan, the hexies have all been sewn together into little flowers, and my mom is now sewing them together into a quilt. It'll take a while before they're finished. When she comes to visit, we work on them together, but she's got her hand in it too. She really likes having a handwork project, and this was something that she could do that would help me out. So we're working on it together. It's kind of a nice way for her to contribute to the community quilt. I think what we are planning to do, my mom's goal, we're going to be taking some squares of fabric. I think it's on me to cut those out next visit she comes. And we're going to applique each of those hexes down to the middle of a square, and then we'll sew the squares together. Rose Anderson is asking, what pattern are you following, or are you making it up as you go? I am actually inspired by the quilt that I'll be teaching on the Alaska cruise that goes on Friday. So we are making a Bargello with 3 different color families, purple, blues, and greens, and this is a very simplified version of that color palette, but it's got the same type of motion. What time do you take off tomorrow, Becca? Our plane leaves at 1:30 and we land in Seattle around 4:15 or so Pacific time. So a 6-hour flight. Get on and 3 hours later we're off, but that's only because we cross a couple time zones. Okay. There we go. Same thing, another loop start. Hello, Maria from Texas. She says, I'm so excited for you going on your cruise. Lots of pictures, hopefully, and safe travels. Thank you. There will be lots of pictures. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. You're in the Facebook group. You follow my Facebook page. We will definitely be sharing some behind the scenes content while we're sailing the high seas. I think this is called the Danish method, where you do one set of legs and then come back and do the second leg. Yes, Susan, that's by design. She said the motion and lights of this make me think of the Northern Lights. The quilt that we are teaching on the cruise is actually called Northern Lights for that reason. This is so calm and soothing to me. And it's just quiet. There's nothing, there's no sound of ironing, there's no sound of the machine. You're just working the thread in and out of those holes. It's so funny the things that you end up liking. I used to say I would never touch a sewing machine. And then I used to say I would never make a quilt. And then I used to say, fine, I'll sew, but I'll never sew by hand. And then I used to say, I'm not really into cross stitch. My theory in life is never say never, because your taste, your preferences, they all morph and evolve with you as you get older and you have more life experience, and something that you don't like when you're 40 you might like when you're 50. Something that you love when you're 50 you might not be able to stand when you're 60. So Tiffany said this is cute, but I don't have the hand sewing patience that you do, Becca. Will you cross stitch during the flight? Yes, ma'am. I plan to do that. My bag here, my place for everything bag here, is packed with a couple of different cross stitch projects. This is the one that I'm actively working on, but I do have two others loaded here in case I want to do something that doesn't require a lot of tediousness, but still allows me to be creative. I can pop over to do one of those, or I can work on my EPP. I've got 6 hours on the plane, so I should be able to get a lot done. I'm going to put my earbuds in, turn on some podcasts or a TV show or something, and just veg out and stitch. Yeah, I have one of those, Janet. She says, I used to have a bright light and a magnifier for cross stitch. I would need that to do it, but I love doing it. I have one too. You can actually wear it around your neck. I have another one that's like a table lamp. I don't always need, like for this level count, I don't need the magnifier for 14 count, but there's a couple of projects that I have where the extra light and the magnification does help. So, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be taking the magnifying glass with me, but I am taking a little neck light that I can wear around my neck. I just feel like the magnifying light will take up way too much space. All right, we've got two more. Nope, nope, those are my scraps. This is my working thread. Rose says, I got to get busy. Safe travels and enjoy everyone going on the cruise. Are you planning on framing your project? Well, the nice thing about this, Sherry, is it's plastic, so I don't need to put it in a frame. It can kind of just sit the way it is. What I was thinking about doing is leaving it exposed like this, putting some felt on the back just to protect the stitches, and then turning it into a nice little magnet or displaying it on a little easel like you would do for a plate, just to kind of have it on display. We'll see. You are so funny, Anne Marie. She says, get yourself a Caterpillar Flex Light. Y'all, I have one. I have two of them. Yeah, those are really good. I'm gonna take the one that I can wear around my neck though, because that one's already packed away. The Flex Light, you're probably right. It would take up less space and it would give me a bunch of good light, but I'm already packed, so that's what we're gonna do. Hey Zaza. Brooklyn says, I do a lot of crafts, but I always come back to cross stitch. I've been stitching on and off for 40 years. All right. I woke up at like 5:30 this morning and I could not get back to sleep because I was so excited that tomorrow is the day that we have been planning for a year and a half. I'm going to go to 3 new states. I will get to see Wales, hopefully, knock on wood. And even if I don't, like I will be in the area where they're at. So I'm just happy to be there and enjoy the experience. Lots of new things to experience on the cruise. And my sister is going with us. So she and her husband will be on the cruise too. So it's a little bit like getaway with my sister, which I absolutely love. In fact, we made reservations for one of the nights on the cruise at the La Petite Chef. If you guys don't know what this is, it's so cute. It's in a restaurant, and they basically use projectors to do like a little animation of a cartoon chef hunting your food and then preparing your meal. And then when the animation's done, they serve up the plated dish that the little animated chef made. Glenny says, oh, you will see whales. But will I see orcas or will I see gray whales or humpbacks? Like, I would love to see a humpback. That's my favorite whale. But I'll literally take any of them. Zaza says, hi, Holly. It's okay. I'm just waiting on cataract surgery now. It's a common side effect from the original Surrey. I have a new Basset puppy now. Carol's asking, do you have the A1 or A1 mini printer? I don't have either. I have a Bamboo P1S. That's BAMBU. Now I know I have enough thread on here to do the next section, so I'm not going to cut off. I'm just going to adjust my thread a little bit because I want to make sure that those two cut off ends don't work themselves into the project. I want to make sure that I'm only using 2 strands in each stitch. Then I'll come down and do the same thing. When I'm doing my cross stitch, I like to do everything that's in the row. Do the first leg for the whole row and then the second leg for the whole row. Since this piece only has 1 stitch in the row, I'm just completing the X and then moving down to the one below it. Lori says, I've been on 2 Alaskan cruises. July was amazing. End of September was freezing. You will have so much fun. Oh, Glenny says, I saw both and orcas were everywhere. Awesome. I'm so excited. Hungry Boot Games with Mandy. That's a name. She says, I don't do cross stitch. I do digital art, but this channel is chill, so I'll stay for a while. Ha ha ha. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you, regardless of what your poison is. Fortnite, that happens to be one of mine. Sewing and creating, whatever. Cut it. All right, that was a long piece to cut. I probably could have kept using that for the next one, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to grab another piece of the thread. Susan says, I got to see orcas over the weekend in the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Oh, Anne-Marie, I hadn't thought about that. She said, do you think you'll turn your stitch into a pattern to sell? I really like it. I don't know if this will become one that I sell perhaps per se, because I'm still kind of new in the world of cross stitch. And so making patterns, I feel like I wouldn't give you all of the details. But maybe I can dip my toes into the wild, or into the water, I should say. Maybe I can dip my toes in a little bit and give you a free download. That might be something I can commit to. That way I don't have to worry about all of the editing and testing and things. How are you getting along with Pattern Keeper? Have you used any patterns from Etsy on it? Yes, I have. I love it. Do you guys want to see what Pattern Keeper does from... I am a complete novice, brand new to it, so you'll have to just bear with me. I can't answer all your questions, but I can give you a high-level overview. I have my tablet here, and if it's got power, I'd be happy to show you. Anne-Marie says, I'm also curious which Samsung tablet you got for the Pattern Keeper. It was the A11 Plus, I believe. Orcas, Glenny says, orcas followed the ship, usually would see the whole eating. It was like a dinner show. oh, not eating, would see the, if you ever need a stitch tester, let me know. You got it. Tiffany's saying what's going to be hard for me is that the weather here in Arizona is 114 degrees, and I'm going to go to Seattle, which is 71, and then on to Alaska, which is 51. That's a bit of a jump, isn't it? Oh, I just found a boo-boo, but I left the room for it. I'll point it out in just a second. I'll have to go back in and fill it in. So right here, this bit of green should be 3 rows and it's only 2. It did not mess up the cadence though, because I filled in immediately below the blue here. So this row of green will need to be filled in. I'm just going to go in and do my 3rd row of the light green. And I'm just going to leave those holes empty so that I can come back in with the darker green and fill it in. Almost need like chill music in the background while you're doing this, right? But I'll be completely honest. There have been a lot of evenings where I just come into my sewing room and I sit in one of my recliners and I don't have anything else on. I am just enjoying the silence and I'm doing this over and over and over again. And there's something just soothing about it. It kind of just slows your mind down a little bit. Hi, Sandra. She says, hello, Becca and friends. I'd love to learn this beautiful craft. Really easy. You're just making X's. Yeah, yeah. Brooklyn says, I'm glad you caught it before you would have to frog. You're right. Me too. Oh, Glennie says, remember, eagles are everywhere too. I'm really excited about that because Mary loves eagles. We're doing a wildlife tour that I hope will have some eagles on display in their natural habitat, hopefully. Hello, Donna. Oh, Love Loathingly says, one of my favorite soundtracks is the 96 Black Beauty, and I frequently listen to that while stitching, etc. Nope, there's not a pattern for this, Donna, but you are the second person to ask. Glennie says, watch out for the bears along the shores. Donna says she's still packing. Better get busy. I can walk you through, for those that want to know how to do this, I'll walk you through what I did. And then that way, if you want to do this on your own, you can. It doesn't matter how many colors you use, how big your project is, the formula is the same. All I did, let me see if I can come in a bit closer. It's this way. No, this way. Okay. All I did is I committed to having all of my pieces 3 rows high. So once I had that, I'm trying to fix the focus so you guys can see this a bit more. Give me a moment. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So all I did when I was doing this is I just committed to everything being 3 rows high. And then I knew I wanted to start with a rectangle. So every swatch is 3 rows high by a different number across. I started with 5, and then every column I reduced it by 1. So I did a 3 by 5, and then a 4 by 3. I'm sorry, a 5 by 3, a 4 by 3, a 3 by 3, a 2 by 3, a 1 by 3, and then I started going back up. 2 by 3, 3 by 3, 4 by 3, 5 by 3, and then I started going back down. 4 by 3, 3 by 3, 2 by 3, 1 by 3, and then I started going back up again. And I did that until I got all the way down to the other corner. Now, I've got something in the way, so I can't see what there we go. So as I'm doing that, it's giving me a rectangle shape, and then it's coming all the way through and kind of giving me that wave, right? I'm always making sure also that the next swatch always starts in the next row down. So if my first swatch is 3 rows high, then my next swatch is going to start in row 4. Makes sense, right? And it's always going to be 3 down. I hope that helps kind of set it for you. What nail polish am I wearing? I don't remember the name of it. But it's pretty, right? Oh, actually, do I? I might have a picture, because I tend to take pictures of the color so I remember. Let me look. It would have been from last week, so I might have it real close. Nope, I sure don't. Interesting. I thought I did. Oh, wait, no, I do. It was number 18. It was number 18 from the Builder Gel Zen collection, number 18. Couldn't tell you the name of it. Donna says, I may want to try that on the plane. Yeah, a lot of fun. I've got a little bit of thread right here that need to be cut off. But that's it. That's all I'm doing. I have got a number of different cross-stitch projects in here that I'm working on. I don't have patterns that I can show you, but I do have my tablet, and if this works the way I hope it will, then I'm hoping I can actually show you what those projects are that I'm working on. So let me zoom out a little bit so that we're not a little chaotic. And then I'm going to turn this on. Dismiss the alarm to tell me that we're going to have group dinner tomorrow with the cruise folks. All right, so this is Pattern Keeper. Let me get it set this way. Okay. Right now I'm in my Google Drive, but this is Pattern Keeper. And so when I go back to the home menu, I have all of my patterns that I've imported right here. This is one that I am working on right now, so I've already started it. This is the one I'm going to show you. I can't zoom into this page, but I do get to see a photo of what the different cross-stitch patterns are. And so the ones that I'm actively working on, this is my big one that I'm working on. It is called Songbird Sparrow by Flamingo Toes. And then this one, I'll pull that open a little bit. You can't really see it, but you can kind of see the outline of all the symbols. This is the one that I am working on right now. This is going to be what I want to work on while we're in Alaska. And I've already started it. So to go into one of these patterns, you just tap on the one that you want, and then you have the grid right here. You can zoom in to see the symbols. You can go as far in as you need. So if you've got bad eyesight or you need to be able to see this from a distance, you can. And so the whole premise here is that you can select, you got to do the markup icon up here. You select the stitches that you're stitching. So let's say I did this whole row of D. I just tap on it and there's an outline around each of those boxes. And then I just tap the little check mark down at the bottom and then it colors them in for me. So I know those are done. And then if I ever have to rip stitches, I can highlight those and I just click the little frog icon and then it undoes it. The other neat thing about this is if I go back over to here, I have the list of all of the threads that I'm using DMC floss for this. So these are all the DMC numbers and what their symbols are on the chart and a little swatch of what the color is. And if I tap on one of them, so let's just tap on D, for example, it highlights everywhere on the pattern where I'm going to do D. Isn't that cool? If I want to see where my white is going to be, I can tap on that. Now I can see everywhere in green that the white is going to be. And I actually find that it's easier to work on this in landscape mode. So I'm going to turn it that way because I can see more. Yeah, so that's it. You can sort these by the number of thread, or you can sort them by numerical stitches. The star is the biggest amount in here. Is that great? So that's what I've got done on the whale. The other one that I have some progress on is Song Sparrow. It's not a lot of progress. And apparently it is also, there it is. It's right here. I've done that flower. That's all I've done. Now I don't know why, and I have to get into it because I'm still new, but I don't know why sometimes, come on, I don't know why sometimes the render in here shows you the actual project when other times it doesn't. Neither one of them were patterned. I think the other one might have been a pattern keeper file. Maybe that was why. So this one's going to be really fun because it's got flowers and little birds in there, and I'm excited to do that one. So those are the two cross stitch projects I'm working on. This one doesn't have a pattern. I'm just doing it from memory of what my quilt looks like. All right, it is, oh, you have used this for diamond painting. I could see you do that. Yep. Shanna says, oh, Becca, that looks like another thing to get addicted to. It is. It is. Is there a pattern keeper for iOS? No, sadly, there is not. What I have heard is that it's in the works, it's in development, but I have also heard that it's in development and has been that way for years. And so I just took the plunge and bought an Android tablet off Facebook Marketplace. You don't need anything super fancy. It just needs to have access to the Google Play Store. And then you can just load up your cross stitch things. I keep all of my cross stitch patterns in my personal Google Drive so that I can get to them on the tablet, and then I import them into Pattern Keeper as I want to work on them. And then when I'm done, I can just offload it because I've already stitched it out. I don't need to keep the pattern on my tablet. So Brooklyn Stitcher says, I have never used Pattern Keeper. I'm old school in that way. You know what? I did have a paper pattern, and I got to tell you, my brain was spiraling a lot because I didn't know if I wanted to mark up the paper. And so then I made copies of it, but they weren't coming out the right way. And so I just decided, you know what? What I really want is an interactive way to do this without messing up my pattern. So that's what I did. All right, it is about 7 o'clock. In 14 hours, my butt's going to get in an Uber to go to the airport. So I'm going to call this live here. We've been live for about an hour. I got a little bit of my cross stitch done. And I'm going to go spend the evening with my husband because I'm not going to see him for 2 weeks. And I'm going to have some of that delicious London broil that he's made. I hope each one of you have a wonderful couple of weeks. Don't forget to follow me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, all the places to get some behind the scenes content that I want to share with you while I'm on the cruise. And hopefully I'll be showing some video clips of some whales. I'll see you guys all in 2 weeks on September 11th. Bye, friends. Go.